and so on and so forth. But when I look at the possibility of a 4-bedroom building with the size that we're talking about and its location, it's also an attractant for a great number of visitors. And I think that's one of the problems that we've had in the past, is the homes have not been built for themselves specifically, but to enable a larger number of people to enjoy that beautiful lake. And I'm just wondering if each time we have one of these requests, we kind of lose a grip on that. And it, again, it goes back to the individual's responsibility to try to do the best they could with the properties they have and get the most out of their investment, which is understandable. But overall, the micro doesn't cut it, it's the macro, which is best for the entire, I don't know if this is appropriate, but for the entire population in this town to accept these new buildings that are showing up left and right. And in some instances, they seem like they've snuck under the wire. I'm just a little leery, to keep passing these things along. That looks like a beautiful building, looks like all the things that were requested of the people who are planning to move in have been done, and it's a gorgeous piece of property. But considering the other possibilities that I expressed, I don't know, I have second thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just make a comment on that, I can say that I've been involved with the Bonadies since before they purchased this property, evaluating the property, helping them to design a home that fits on here that they felt would be very appropriate, and in asking questions and working with the home designer and the Bonadies. It's designed as a single-family home. That is their intent and their only intent to use it for. Will they have gatherings? I don't know. They're no different than any other owner or resident in the town of Columbia, but it's a 4-bedroom home. They have a family, and that's what it's designed to do. So,
if I could just add one other thing, for what it's worth, the 2 structures that are there now are multiple bedroom structures that were rentals, at least during the season. And so we're limiting, right, both of those as dwellings, just in terms of the number of bedrooms that are there now, that are, at least during the summer season, have people populating them. So I just want to make sure people understand we're eliminating each of those structures in terms of their ability to provide dwelling for people.
So no rentals, just
Yeah.
one family, no rentals in the future.
And if I may add a comment, generally speaking, with all of that has transpired over the past 20 years, as Mr. Narkowitz has referred to, in terms of cottages becoming year-round homes, the water quality of Columbia Lake, which is tested consistently year over year, month over month, and now weekly, has only improved. There are things we can do to make it better and to keep it and preserve it and protect it. And I think all of you who know me, that's what I'm all about. But I really can't say that the precedent of year-round homes with X number of bedrooms has changed it. Perhaps it's nutrient allocation, perhaps it's being careful environmentally. And I truly believe, looking at this property, it is no different than what we've seen and approved, your committee has approved over the past 20 years.
I have a question, Joe. It's Carol Williamson. Is this house going to be the residence of these folks, or is it something they're building to sell?
it's intended to be their own residence.
Correct.
Is that correct, Mr. Bonady? That's
Yes.
going to be
Yeah.
your residence? All right,
This is going to be our full-time residence. Yeah.
okay.
More questions?
If I may also say, as a neighbor to this property, I acknowledge that a large house is going to end up on that lot. And I don't object to the size of the house. And that is where the source of my concern about the septic is. It's not the size of the house, it's just the location of their project. So I will take it up with others, but I don't want people to misconstrue my conversation as saying that I object to the house itself.
Thank you. Shall we go around the horn again for anybody with questions? Then, can somebody make a motion?
I make a motion that we close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We will take a 2-minute break here so I can gather the papers in front of me, and then we'll move on. I want to thank everybody for their interjections here. It's very important that we have them. And hopefully soon we will be back to, you know, a real public hearing. This, not that this isn't real, but in the town hall again. Because there may have been more people who may want to talk about something like this.
Right. I think July, it looks like we will be back to in-person meetings. And we have no application for June, so.
That would
Okay.
be, I think. So we had a motion to close the hearing, and so why don't we go back to resume the regular meeting? And at this point in time, then we have the new business is ZBA 2021-4, application of Brian Bonadies, the owner, Wesley Wentworth, agent, to combine 132 and 134 Route 87 into a single 29,984 square foot lot in the LAR zone. The property is identified as Assessor's Map number 13B, lots 4G and 48 and 49, located on the corner of Route 87 and Comimo Lane. It's a private road. The existing cottage at 134 Route 87 will be demolished and a new single-family dwelling constructed. The existing garage at 132 Route 87 will remain. The existing cottage at 132 Route 87 will be converted into a storage shed. A special permit is requested for a non-conforming lot pursuant to section 10.4.2 for an increase of the maximum lot coverage not to exceed 15% for a reduction of the front and rear setbacks to no less than 30 feet and a reduction of side yard setbacks for frontage lots to no less than 15 feet. The existing drilled well shared with 132A, Route 87 will remain, and a new septic system is proposed. Does somebody want to have a motion here? Chickens.
Motions.
I think, yeah, it has to be a regular member, I believe.
Yeah.
To make the motion.
I'd like to make a motion then to approve the application. I'm not very computer savvy. I don't have all the numbers in front of me that Joe just read, but I would like to make a motion to approve the application.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
I just like to say, I think it's pretty consistent with what we've done in the last at least 10 years, maybe further back from Woodland Terrace 1 and Woodland Terrace 2. And I just think this is natural progression of what's been happening around the lake. I think this board has been pretty consistent. And I think this house meets the criteria of 10.5 as far as character, safety, fire access. So I think that's all I have on that.
I'm concerned that, it's Carol Williamson, I'm concerned that this is such a large building. It's 90 feet by 56 feet, which is pretty enormous for a single family home. I don't know how it could be reconfigured where it wouldn't present such a long face to the lake. It almost, I think it's almost going to feel like a hotel or a motel when it's 90 feet long.
I think when you look at it, it won't present that long of a view because they angled the garage. And if you go down to the property, which I have, you can see what I'm talking about.
I did. I looked at the stakes and it said, wow, that's a huge house. And not really in keeping with the neighborhood. There are not, and there's nothing in that area that's anywhere near that size. I understand that the property is very valuable. Any recreational property is very valuable, but that is an enormous house.
Well, part of what we have in the town of Columbia is that special permit. The house which is proposed does meet all the requirements for that special permit. And the only mitigating factor with this is that, and we must decide as a group whether or not this house, the proposed home, does conform to the neighborhood. And we have granted them in the past, and we have denied them in the past. Not too far from this home, there was another piece of property. I don't remember the exact address to that, and it's in the cove down there on the lake, on that side of the lake. There was a piece of property where there were, I believe, 3 homes on it, and they tore the 2 or 3 homes down, and they built one big one. And it's big. There's no question about it. It is big.
Joe, it's at the end of this same road. It's within a stone's throw of this pump. So again, that speaks to me that, you know, there are other homes in the neighborhood. And of course, the neighborhood is subject to some interpretation. I mean, is it just, you know, within, you know, a quarter mile, or is it the lake in general? So to me, and you know, this was mentioned earlier that, you know, over the last 15 years, you know, guess what? People don't want to build, you know, 1,500 square foot homes anymore. So, you know, that's just, you know, and again, we have, you know, the requirements in there that it meets. So in my mind, it's meeting, you know, what we'd set up. It's not a, you know, a superstructure that's, you know, made out of cinder block. You know, it's got design elements. They've left some buildings up to try to preserve, you know, be respectful of neighbors who have gotten used to, you know, the look of that property, but it's improving the property, and, you know, I think it's good.
If we didn't have a special permit in this town, I would say we deny it.
Correct, but the
But we do have a special permit. We have that, and we have to live by that, and we have allowed big homes to be built. And I think we need to look at all of this. So we have a motion to well, let me ask you, everybody this, is there any more discussion in regards to this? Anybody wish to add anything?
No.
Then why don't we take it to a vote? Why don't we go around the horn to all the members? There's 5. I believe we need 4 affirmative votes if it's going to go through. So I will ask Ms. Williamson first.
Deny.
Mr. Peck,
Approve.
Mr. Petrone,
Approve.
Mr. Holcroft,
Approved.
and Mr. DiGiovanni.
Alternate.
He's an alternate, so he doesn't vote. when we have.
So
all
we have,
members.
we have 5 members?
Yes.
Who did I miss?
Joe,
Yourself.
Carol, Bill Petrone, Keith Pack. Is Keith here?
I just voted.
You just
voted.
voted. Yep.
Voted.
Yourself, Joe.
And David Holcraft. So just you.
Well, I'm gonna vote yes. That I would approve it.
I believe that's
So
4
good.
affirmative votes. Joe, you were affirmative. Bill Petrone, you were affirmative. David Holcraft, you were affirmative.
Yes.
Keith Peck, you were affirmative. And Carol, you were a no.
Yes.
So that was 4 affirmative votes. Which is what was required to approve the application.
Right. Now, do we need to have any type of reason for our decision added to this?
Typically, you would say something along the lines of, based on the statements of the applicant and his agent and the plan submitted, the board finds that granting a special permit will not adversely affect the character of the neighborhood or the property values of neighboring properties, or adversely affect general health, welfare, or safety of the town per section 52 of the regulations. Therefore, you approve the permit application.
There you go.
Okay.
Everybody approve of that?
Yes.
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 So we have 4 affirmative and 1 not. Okay,
We would like to thank you all for your time and effort tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you.
So
there
this-
is an appeal process
Yes.
for this?
There is a 2-week appeal process, and you need to record the special permit on the land records at the end of the special permit process. So I will draft that and have that ready for you. Joe will sign it, and it will be ready probably 2 weeks and a couple of days, since we have a holiday coming up. So I will be in touch.
I want to thank all the board members and anybody who had discussed this with us this evening. Okay, that's it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Is there any other business on there? I don't remember seeing anything.
Oh, do you have the, I don't have it up anymore.
I have it right here. Unfinished business, there isn't any. Board open discussion.
None.
I just would like to open up and talk about the special permitting again.
Okay, would you like to do that in a, would that be an executive session, or is that a public discussion?
No, I'd like this to be an executive discussion.
I believe we adjourn the meeting and open a executive session. Is that correct, Flo?
Yes.
So this would be for the members only?
Yes, and I'm trying to get everybody.
We do have a couple of, okay,
Well, I'm waiting.
there's,
Okay, everybody's